Hello Saber Forum and YouTube, this is BladeCrossEXE, and it's time for another Ultra Sabers review. Now, this is the Archon v2.1, a very nice looking saber, and it's actually reminiscent of Luke Skywalker's saber from Return of the Jedi and Obi-Wan's saber from Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. This was actually a raffle prize I got a little while back. I gave it to my buddy Steven, and he's letting me review it. Since it's actually his saber, I haven't had that much combat experience with it, but with a little practicing I've done with it and having fought against it, I can tell you a little bit about it. It's a very lightweight hilt. It's lighter than the Catalyst model, which is the lightest saber I have, I believe. And all the striking power is actually in the tip of the saber, because the weight on the hilt itself is very unbalanced. All the weight is here in the bottom, where the battery pack is, and the top is very light, it's very hollow. If you, let me unscrew the emitter here. It's a very thin aluminum, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a very deep blade socket, which means that it's very sturdy, even though it only has one retention screw. And this thing can take quite a beating, and Steven's actually disarmed me a couple times during our various duels. So all the striking power with Archon, at least in my experience, is in the tip of the saber. And that fighting style actually works for him pretty well. He's very, very thin, very wiry, very fast guy. And what he lacks in brute strength, he makes up for in, I guess you'd call them critical hits. If this were an RPG game, that's how it would work. And this particular Archon is a 2-channel emerald driver with the blue and green LEDs. And we've actually done a little fiddling around with it, and we gave it a super fast flash on clash. Little seizure warning. Here we go. It's like a lightning effect almost. And of course the Archon is a MHS saber, modular hilt system, which means that it is compatible with any other MHS parts. The pommel is removable, of course. That's how you get to the battery pack. And you can see right here the little USB plug. That's where the emerald driver is. And that's for the Obsidian soundboard. This is an Obsidian V3 because I believe when we got this, they'd either just come out with the V4s or they weren't out just yet. This is my Dark Catalyst pommel. You see it will plug in just as easily. So that works. And the Archon's emitter is actually in 2 separate parts. It has the neck and the head of the emitter. And actually they just came out with the Archon V3 model, which looks even more like Luke's lightsaber, and it's a bit thinner. But you know, like I said, this is the V2.1. So as you can see, it separates into a total of 4 different pieces, not counting the blade. That's the neck piece. It's a threaded screw on both sides, and it too is compatible with other emitters. Here's the emitter for my Catalyst. Yes, I really like the Catalyst. It's the only MHS saber I have that has a removable emitter, aside from my Flamberge, but that emitter is super tiny. So yeah, that is one thing I do have to give props to the Archon for. It's very versatile, I suppose you could say, with all the different compatible parts. You can give it a really unique look if you wanted to. Only thing with this kind of, with this hilt and this emitter, the blade won't go down very far because of how shallow the blade socket is on the Catalyst emitter. And like the LED sits right there, so it wouldn't go down very far if you tried that. So it looks awesome, but I wouldn't recommend that for very heavy dueling. But on the whole, I would say the Archon is definitely a saber that's worth looking into, especially if you're a fan of Luke Skywalker or Obi-Wan, and I want to get one of these for myself whenever I have the mind to throw. But I definitely give this saber, I give it an 8 out of 10, just based on what I've seen from it. So this has been BladeCrossEXE, part of Flashing Blade Productions, with the review of the Ultra Sabers Archon v2.1. And thank you for watching.